So what I get to talk to you guys about today is lessons that I have learned over the last 23 years of being an entrepreneur. Yes, I'm only 32, so I'll tell you the story of how I got started when I was 9. But hopefully today, I'm gonna share a couple of the lessons that I've learned in hopes that it's just gonna make your life a little bit easier, because I've already paid the price, so hopefully you don't have to too. So a little bit about me, in case we have not had the opportunity to meet. My name is Chelsea Steen. I'm 32 years old. I'm married. There's a really good-looking photographer running around. Her name is Victoria. That's my wife. I'm also a retired athlete. So I played international soccer as well as collegiate basketball. And after beating the hell out of my body for a very long time, now I do yoga. And that's it. I also sold a business in a past life, so I had the opportunity to start a painting company when I was 19. I got to run that for 8 years before I sold it. I also really love to travel, been to 45 or so countries, all 7 continents. And last year, my wife and I had the really amazing opportunity that we got to go travel for 10 months around the world while running my business. We hit 16 countries and still brought in over 400K in GCI. Oh, thank you. Okay, so what I want to tell you is I've been teaching some classes at the brokerage that have been a ton of fun. It's a way for me to give back, and I've been having a blast. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about each class and then a couple of lessons that I've learned along the way that you'll also get a fuller version of in those classes. So the first one that's coming up is Make It Rain referrals. Why am I equipped to teach you this? Well, my first 3 years in real estate, I kind of skyrocketed and I sold about 50 million in real estate over those 3 years with no TC, no assistant, no team, no anything, just me, myself, and I. But what's more impressive to me about that was that 89% of it was referral based. And my business still is. So if you want to learn how to systematically build a referral-based business, I'd really recommend that you come to that class, and I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do every single week to also have similar results. So the lesson that I want to leave you with today that you'll also get in that class is to ask for what you want. So when I was 20, I stepped foot into a class on entrepreneurship, which was so exciting because I didn't want to go to biology. I didn't want to go to freaking math, whatever. So I got to go take a class on entrepreneurship. And when I walked into that room, this guy was standing at the front of the classroom, and his name was Walt Sakira. And he put a syllabus down in front of everybody and said, hey, take a couple minutes, read through it, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So we take a couple minutes, we read through it, and his question was, is there anything that you guys want to change in here? I look around at my classmates, everybody's like a deer in headlights. I see an opportunity and I pounce. I raise my hand, he calls on me, and I said, listen, Walt, I'm an athlete, I'm running a business, I'm also getting 2 degrees, and the thing that stresses me out more than anything is tests. So I just wondered if maybe we could not have tests this semester. And he takes a moment and he thinks about it, and then he says, okay, everybody turn to page 6. Go ahead and cross out tests. We're just not gonna have them this semester. And he used me as an example of why you should just ask for what you want. Because if you don't ask, you're never gonna know. And so the thing I wanna leave you with on this lesson is how many opportunities have you missed over the course of your life because you were just too afraid to ask? How many opportunities have you missed over the course of your life because you were just too afraid to ask? So ask. Quick sip of water. Okay, so the second class that I'm going to be teaching is my personal favorite, which is how to run your business like a business. This is my favorite because we talk about data and spreadsheets, and that's what I'm into, and if that's not your thing, then you probably should come. So it probably means you have something to learn about that. So in this class, we talk about the 6 systems that every single business owner needs to have regardless of the industry, and the 6 systems that I use in my business. So a couple of the lessons that I've learned of how to run a business like a business. The first one is about the compound effect, which really to me comes down to consistency. Has anybody out of curiosity read the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy? Raise them high if you have. Okay, cool. It takes 30 minutes to read this book. It's so short. So if you have not had the opportunity to read this, I highly recommend right now you pull it up on Amazon, go ahead and order it. It'll be here in 4 hours, and start reading it tonight. And in this book, it basically talks about the story of the tortoise versus the hare. If we all remember that story from our childhood, right? There's a race between a rabbit and a turtle. And at the end of the race, the turtle ends up winning because the turtle was slow and steady over time, whereas the rabbit was taking these really big bursts of energy and then having to take breaks. So it puts data to the fact that small, consistent action over time will always yield higher results than short bursts of energy. And I like to think about this when I think about consistency in the form of exercise. So am I the only person in this room that has at some point decided, today I'm gonna get fit? Oh, it's always. Today I'm sick of this. Today I'm going to get fit. And you go and you buy all of these groceries, right? And you join a gym and you hire a trainer and you do this and you do that, and that works for about 2 hours, 2 weeks. Yeah, you said 2 weeks. It's about 2 weeks, right? And then you're right back to where you were. So here would be a better way to perhaps approach that. Month 1, I'm gonna drink more water. That's it, just gonna drink more water. And at the end of the 30 days, okay, at night, instead of that sweet little treat, which for me is always cake and cookies, I'm gonna instead have a piece of fruit. And then at the end of the workday, the following month, instead of the 15 minutes that I'm spending scrolling social media, I'm gonna go walk for 15 minutes. And over the course of a year, now you're drinking more water, you're eating healthier, you're exercising more, and it starts to compound in a really big way for your health. So that's the compound effect. The third lesson is find and hold on to great people who want you to grow. It is so fun to have people in our life that tell us nice stuff about ourselves. We need that. But I would also argue that we really need people that will also tell us the stuff that we need to hear, not just that we want to hear. And that actually requires a lot of trust and care in that relationship for somebody to be willing to risk the relationship to tell you what you need to hear. So I want to just tell you about a couple of mine, and some people I'd recommend that you acquire as well if you don't already have them. So the person in the top left, it might be hard to believe the guy that's, he was not chill at all. This is my high school basketball coach, J.R. Shoemate. To this day, one of the most important people in my life. We have a great relationship. I'm in relationship with his kids. He's amazing. He was psychotic. He would grab me by my jersey and scream in my face and kick basketballs across the room and all this stuff, get ejected from games, from talking shit to the referees. Absolutely crazy. And I always had confidence that he would tell me exactly what I needed to hear. Could have been nicer worded sometimes, but exactly what I needed to hear. He went on to become the #1 coach in the state of Colorado, or in the state of Ohio, and he now is a D1 basketball coach. So something's working. The next person in the top right, that lovely human, is Maya. That is my therapist. If you don't have a therapist, I highly recommend that you get one if you care about your mental and emotional health. I've been going for about 13 years, and no, it's not just about you and your personal life. There are things that affect us in our business, like self-sabotaging thought patterns, right? There's a lot of that shit that gets in your way that you don't even realize, and so I highly recommend that you get a really awesome therapist or life coach, somebody to help you with this. In the bottom left, the guy in the red tie was the best business coach that I've ever had. His name is Dave Lebeck. To this day, he's one of my closest friends. And if you've never had a business coach, I can't emphasize the importance of that enough. I have had a business coach every year since I was 19 years old, and without them, I would not be anywhere close to where I am today. So hire a coach or a team lead, but somebody that can push you. And what Dave and I were doing on that stage was, I was getting an award, because when I first started my painting company, I was with a franchise before I went on my own. And at the end of my 3rd year, I got an award because I ran the largest business that any female franchise owner had in the 40-year history of the company in the US. And the only reason that happened, no shit, was because of Dave. Literally, I would have done 30% of that volume without him constantly there telling me, hey, that was good, but here's what we can do better. And then the final one is Colin Whitenack. Is he in the room today? That makes this way less fun. So Colin is what I would call my judge. He's been a mentor to me in this business forever. In my opinion, he's one of the best real estate agents in Denver. Oh, you mother trucker, you are right there hiding out, aren't you? So in any case, I wouldn't have been so nice right there if I knew you were here. In any case, Colin is what I call my judge. So when I need an honest opinion as to what has gone on, because we can get in our heads, I call Colin. And why do I call Colin? Because he's highly ethical, he's very fair, and he's super analytical, and perhaps most importantly with all of that, he does not care about my feelings. So I'll call Colin, it'll go something like this. Hey, here's what happened. And he'll tell me, hey, you're either in your head and you've done everything right here, don't worry about it, or it's the opposite, like, you should probably tighten that up. So to end with this, I would just say, find really good people in your life that have enough care for you to tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. So the last class that I'm teaching is Unstuck Yourself. And I guess I should mention about these classes, by the way, the last couple ones that I've done have sold out, and so please, please, please go register if you want to come, because it was kind of heartbreaking to turn people away. Apparently there's a thing called a fire code in our training room that I was not aware of, and we can actually only have so many bodies, so please register. So unstuck yourself. Has anybody here ever felt stuck? Does anybody here feel like you get in your own way constantly? Okay, good. I'm not alone. That's good. So there's two principles I want to leave you with today from Unstuck Yourself. The first one is own it. So when I was 20, I had the opportunity to sit down with one of my business coaches, and he said, hey, you're about to get into this endeavor, and it's a big deal. And what I want you to know is that running a successful business is like looking in the mirror. Every single thing that happens in your business, whether it's good, bad, or it's ugly, is as a result of something that you did or you did not do. It's really easy to be hopeless. It's really easy to sit back and say, oh my gosh, I didn't get that seller because they're using their cousin that's doing it for 2%. Instead of, I didn't get that seller because my presentation probably could have been a little bit better. I didn't get that seller because I didn't follow up fast enough. And if you can take the approach that there's always something that you can do better, you're going to end up growing a lot faster because you're going to be staying in your lane. You've got your blinders on, kind of like a horse running a race. You're just focused on you. You're not worried about anybody else. And then the last lesson that I want to leave you with here is to fail faster. And I'm sure that it's hard to believe from looking at these pictures, but when I was a kid, I was an absolute freaking terror. My dad is sitting in the second row nodding aggressively. And so I was an absolute terror. And I had a lot of energy. So when I was 9, I learned how to type at school. And on the bus home that day, I decided I was going to start a baking business that day. So I get home, I go to our family computer, and I type up a flyer for a baking business with a bunch of different prices. And then I print out like 50 copies of this on our family computer. And this is the 90s. You don't use all of your ink at home, right? Like, we're gonna go broke if I used all the ink at our house. So I use all the ink, I print out these flyers, I go around on my bike and I drop them off to all of the neighbors in the neighborhood. And by 5:30 p.m. when my mom gets home, customers are calling. And she answers the phone and somebody says, hi, is this Chelsea's baking business? And we make eye contact and I'm standing there pumped, like, do your job, take the order, like, come on. So she writes down the order, hangs up the phone, and she says, so here's the thing, Chelsea. If you're gonna start a baking business, which you apparently have, you can't charge $2 for a yellow cake that costs $5 to make. And so I got a really fun lesson in cost of goods sold, which was great. So I make this cake, I'm so excited, I go to deliver it on Saturday, and I'm walking up this lady's driveway, and I trip. And the cake breaks, and I have a meltdown. I'm 9, right? I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? So I go up to this woman's door, and I apologize profusely, and she was so gracious about her $2 yellow cake that she didn't really care, and that was great. But I go home, and what I realized from that at a really young age is just go for it. Just go for it, just fail. I had no idea about cost of goods sold. My flyer was probably hideous if I had to guess, things misspelled, mistyped, I don't really know. I basically bankrupted our family with all the ink that I was going through. I didn't know how to price things. Just fail, because so many of us are afraid to just take risk because we don't want to be seen. right? We're afraid that people are going to see us fail. And this cracks me up because what I've realized in life is that people see you no matter what. We're in a digital age. You're on social media or you're not. They see you in person. In any case, they see you. And so the example that I would use here is video on social media. I was really terrified to put myself on video on social media. And then I had this realization that, okay, well, my peers are doing it. And so my clients are either seeing me take a risk on myself and do this and try this and maybe mess it up and maybe it's ugly, or they're seeing me not. It's one of the two, but they're seeing me either way. So the final thing that I want to leave you with here is that we're all put on this planet for two reasons. If you're wondering what your why is, here it is. I'm going to give you this knowledge. The how and the what is going to be different for everybody, but the why is the same. So number one, to serve others. And number two is to grow. And I don't know about you, but the times that I've had the most growth have been when I have royally messed it up. So I just want to encourage you to just go for it, send it, and fail faster. Thanks for your time today.
Nailed it.